Welcome back, traders! We have another AMC and GameStop update, and some very, very, very critical things just happened on the chart, so make sure you stay until the end so you can soak up all of this DD, because it is a lot. I wanted to start with GameStop because GameStop is the larger company of the two, right? Market cap-wise. You are continuing your breakout. Not much has changed on GameStop. AMC, however, a lot has changed. But you are seeing a continuation of this breakout from the bull flag, right? That you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I believe 9 touches of this down sloping resistance before you absolutely broke out on 2 weekly candles green in a row, 10% and 4.61%. And our whole conviction on this breakout, guys, was that you were being coiled, absolutely stretched to the max on GameStop stock, in which you were going to see some kind of crazy upside coming into earnings. And this is the first GameStop earnings that you have not seen the familiar trend occur. Because typically, right, going into earnings, you pump, you crash, you pump, you crash, you pump, you crash, you pump, you crash. You have not seen the crash, and you've barely just began the pump. You have a couple different things that you've done that are very, very important and are the reason that I'm so bullish right now. It's almost like a magic 8 ball, right? You have this magic 8 ball. You're shaking it up. You're shaking it. You're shaking it. And these two indicators together tell a very compelling story, a story that gives me confidence in the bulls. You can see that the weekly RSI, you've crossed the midband, and the MACD on the weekly time frame, you've crossed up. You've gotten your first cross, and if you look back to the beginning of these two things, crossing the midband on the RSI weekly marks your bottom, marks your bottom, marks your bottom, and marks your bottom. Literally perfectly every single time has marked your bottom in the past year before you saw 70 or more percent swings to the upside. So this thing has been one of the easiest and most fun stocks to trade prior to June, because I know no one was having fun during this. This was absolute just bulls getting wrecked. Let's call it as it is, right? But within this, right, a very valuable thing was consolidation at higher levels. This was a local higher low, right? And allowed for us to see these kind of gains. These two things happening at the same exact time gear up for a 70% move, right? Because if you measure this, 70% move, you measure this to the top, 67% move. You measure this. This one was like freaking 500%, right? But the bull case thesis here is that you have marked your bottom, and you're going to see a 70% move up to that $38 to $40 range before you see some kind of local rejection here at the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would be your 6th touch of this bull channel, right? Above this bull channel is exactly why I have this little guy up here. Shorts are going to get wrecked above this channel, because above this channel and above 40, guys, is where GameStop gets really, really squeezy, really, really fast. You can see every time you've crossed this significant resistance, look at the candle size, 28%, 16%, 8%, 92%. 35%, 399%. Every time you've crossed above this critical $40 line, GameStop has been in some kind of monstrous move, and it's acted as significant resistance. You can see here you wicked off of it and closed below. Wicked, closed below, wicked, closed below, bounced off of it, closed below, bounced off of it, bounced off of it. So $40 is not just a physical part in the chart where GameStop has either used as support or been blasted underneath it, but it has acted as psychological resistance for the shorts to pile in or for the bulls to defend, guys. And we are in the point of this run in which we expect to get up there. We do. There's so many different things happening with GameStop between the warrants, right? The dividend that's coming up at $32, $34 a share. And just what are they going to do? Earnings continuously improve. Profitability continuously improving. Sitting on $10 billion in cash on hand in assets. It's a beautiful, beautiful position to be if you are a GameStop shareholder. I'm not complaining. I think upside is due for sure. But before we continue into AMC, let's get into the monthly time frame. Because the monthly time frame depicts a beautiful, beautiful potential for the bulls. And you can see here, you are now edging closer. You can see how close we are, guys. This is the difference between a toothpick is how close you are to crossing above the monthly RSI band. For the first time since this candle right here, you saw a 25% green candle and then continuation up 7 with a wick off. I anticipate something very, very similar here if you do not see a rejection. And mind you, it would have to be a sharp rejection to stop this bullish momentum, because this bullish momentum is almost as bullish as you guys subscribing to this freaking channel, because we have compiled over 500 subscribers in 2 months like that. We are compiling dollar movements on GameStop with the gap fill on Webull. Let's hit up GameStop. GME. With the gap fills above us, guys, I mean, there's so much to love about this chart. I cannot rant enough about how good you look in this breakout here. Mind you, you have a gap fill at 2360. I am not worried about this at all yet. In fact, I'd like you to fill it. But nothing is guaranteed, guys. And every single technical indicator, every single one, is pointing north. And you can see you have a gap fill all the way up to $29, all the way up to $30. And then our macro target on GameStop, right? You get above this $39 to $40 range. Our macro target, $73. Going for the gap fill of all gap fills, guys. The holy gap fill at $73 that you created back here in 2021 during that June squeeze, right? In which they diluted the stock and made a lot of money for the bullish, for the bullishness of the company. What you're seeing here could be a flag out or a higher low. But inevitably, guys, you look at the daily, you look at where your exponential moving averages are, or your EMAs. It's a little knowledge drop for you, exponential moving averages. You see how freaking close. I am pounding the drum. I am literally screaming at you guys to look at how close the 50 and the 200 are. This is where I want AMC to get. And this is what I wanted to cover today on AMC, is you're getting so close to replicating this up thrust move here to get above the 250. But you're not there yet. Let's continue GameStop. GameStop, you are getting above and you've blown past this death cross, right? This was a huge point of resistance, and now we look to flip it as huge points of support, right? So regardless, if you come back down here, I don't anticipate that you would go for the gap fill yet, because you have just done something monumental. You've tested this death cross right here. You got slapped back down into the wedge. You blasted and gapped above it during earnings. And then now you're looking to retest a potential daily golden cross. Now, when is the last time that this happened? We've covered it before. 2024 squeeze. in which you did the exact same thing, right? You based above the 200 of support, gapped up, couple 100%. That was Roaring Kitty tweets. Gap down, you come all the way back down to this golden cross, guys. You test it perfectly, and from the golden cross, this is what I want you guys to step away from, is that first test of the golden cross is significantly bullish. There's something about it in which you can almost guarantee, not financial advice, but you can look and do your own DD, your own DD, guys. Look at other stocks. You can see where these wick-offs occur and the monumental gains that occur after you wick off a golden cross. 171% on GameStop. Just for reference, right? That is the last time that happened. What's going to happen now? I have no freaking idea, but if you did something, along the lines of this, right? You come back down, maybe that golden cross is up here now. Actually, let's just say you come down to test it now. I gotta expand my chart for this, guys. This is gonna be monumental. 171% from this move. Takes you almost into the gap fill, almost perfectly. Around 60, let's call it $69, because that makes the most sense. $69 on GameStop, right? And so even if you're not in the stock yet, there's a real bullish argument that you can look to either enter in this massive point of control at $24 or $25, right? At that massive point of control where you rejected, whoops, that was a mistake. You rejected, you gapped above, bounce, reject, bounce. You can just see how critical this level has been on GameStop throughout its entire history, not just the last year, but its entire history. If you come back and you retest not only the golden cross, because by then it'd be up here, right? Potentially, you'd be on the cusp. It would be a Picasso's kiss. It would be literally Bob Ross giving you his last painting before he passed. It would be absolutely beautiful. I love Bob Ross. Just a shout out to him. Rest in peace. Getting this throwback retest into a golden cross, into this point of control, would be the biggest blessing of an opportunity to pick up shares that I think I've ever seen on this stock. So not financial advice. GameStop looks beautiful. You have so many gaps to the upside, and every single bullish indicator screaming to the upside here, except for the 4-hour MACD. But even that is beginning to curl up, and hopefully we'll see that cross. But let's get into AMC here, because AMC has just done something beautiful. It has been absolutely coiling for the last 2 weeks, and AMC saw a nice sized move off of some good news, right? And we talk about AMC news. Let's just go to Adam Aaron. Adam Aaron dropped some news today in which Taylor Swift saved the company. It's hilarious, but Taylor Swift quite literally in 2022 saved the company when she helped add almost $1 billion in revenue during a really, really tough time in AMC's history. And you now see the official release date of Showgirl comes to AMC theaters October 3rd, 3 p.m. This is why you saw that pretty monstrous sized move today on AMC. He goes into more detail saying 100 plus countries, Tickets show Tuesday, September 23rd. So I would expect almost every single ticket to sell out because the people that went to the first one are literally going to be nerding out about the second one. I'm not one of those people, although it may seem like I'm excited. I'm just excited for you guys. I don't know who's interested, but for the people that are. Taylor Swift has one of the biggest followings in social media. This is going to be huge. And when we talked about catalysts like Wicked and other movies coming down the pipeline next quarter, because next quarter looks much better, we did not anticipate this. This is much bigger than anything AMC has going on, because you could likely look at the previous run and anticipate another $1 billion added in revenue. And another $1 billion added in revenue, guys, while they cut costs and continue to add to positive bottom line results, they could be profitable next quarter. Like, this could be the snowball that AMC truthfully needed to begin to absolutely, I don't want to say it, but squeeze these, right? Squeeze these shorts, squeeze these hedge funds, and begin to turn the tides on this story. AMC looks really, really nice here, above the 200-day EMA on the 4-hour, above the 50-day EMA on the 4-hour, and you can see how close you are to getting a cross on the 4-hour, a golden cross, right? So we're talking about it on GameStop on the daily. Now we're talking about it on AMC on the 4-hour. And you can see you've created a bullish pennant or a bullish triangle here, right? Flat side resistance, candle closes, and rising support. These break up, guys. They just do. And if you see a breakdown here, I would anticipate the exact same thing that we're looking at on GameStop. I would anticipate a test of this 4-hour golden cross. But last video, I very specifically remember talking about this 4-hour MACD fake out. That, oh, you're trading in after hours. You traded 1,000 shares. Boo-hoo, cry me a river. This thing looks good. And you reversed. News came out. And then AMC's price followed, right? You closed above $3, guys. You don't understand how bullish that is, because you are now only 50 cents away from doing something very, very special. So the 4-hour golden cross, I would anticipate to happen tomorrow. Last time you got a 4-hour golden cross, guys, this was your death cross. You saw a death cross, price got depressed. There's a fly in here, and I'm going to absolutely murder him. You saw a golden cross here. Your price popped from $3 up to $3.40. You came back to retest, and then you went up to $3.60, guys. You do not have the wiggle room to make those kind of moves without doing something amazing. And that is why I said I am buying AMC stock at those levels, 280. And look what has become of it. Look at what has happened since our buy. Literally down here. Boom. And I think that this is the beginning of something potentially really special. If you can hold this bullish strength. You see, the last time you had a golden cross on AMC on the 4-hour, it was back here, and you ran how much? Let's go off the test. 14 to 15%. Let's see here. You had a golden cross at 240. You tested it perfectly right here. So let's go off the test, right? Whoops. Let's go off this test. Let's just look at this test right here to the wick. 41%. Right? And so if you saw some kind of retest here of the golden cross, I would expect this thing to absolutely pop the frick off. Right? 41% gets you above every single technical landmark that we talked about in our last video, being the rocket thrusters to push this thing to the upside. And maybe soon we can finally begin talking again about AMC being the bullish catalyst for GameStop to move, because so often recently has it been the reverse, and people might finally start turning their heads to look at this thing, to look at this stock, because I guarantee you that once you go to the daily here, come on, this is exactly what we talked about. And oh my God, look at the volume. Look at the candle. What the heck? That's 5x volume, boys. That's 5x volume. Just look at the stupidness. Look at what you've done. And look at where it's going to take you. Just look at how special that candle is right there. And you can see you're above the technical 9-day EMA. You're above the 50-day EMA. And you've printed a 6% candle on 5x volume. Guys, ladies, apes, look at how special that is. And once you see the 9-day EMA, if you can hold these levels, very important, if you can hold these levels, the 9-day EMA will cross above the 50. And when you see that happen, guys, that has happened a handful of times on AMC. But when it does happen, you make stupid moves. Happened back here. The next day, you saw a 10% move. And then what was that? A 10% move, higher high, and then a 23% move. These are daily candles, right? Yeah, this is going to get really dumb really fast, and I'm for it, right? Now, could you bash your head on this uptrend or on this downsloping resistance? I think it's likely, but I don't think that this size volume candle, that is a technical breakout on the volume, right? I don't think that that's a mistake. I think institutions know what is about to happen. A move and a volume candle of this magnitude happens. It's Taylor Swift time, boys. Literally, like that is what propels that thing. And I do anticipate if you break this falling wedge, you're going straight for the 200-day EMA, which has happened every single time on very high volume, on very explosive moves. And if you break this thing, guys, you're talking a squeeze to the likes we have not seen in a long time. Every time you have broken this thing, you have been squeezing hundreds of percent. It happened here. It happened here. It happened here. And it happened here, right? And this is the kind of accumulative move that we're looking at, that we are anticipating to happen. This is a double bottom. If you can hold this range and break out of the falling wedge, that this is a double bottom. You are coiling in a falling wedge. You are breaking up on beautiful, bullish news. And if you can break this and the 50-day EMA, and you can get this thing to begin to curl up, guys, and ride it like a worm, you will see the first golden cross on AMC stock. Oh my goodness. Just let that sink in. If you guys thought I was bullish right now, just wait until you get the daily golden cross. Just wait. Just freaking wait. Because you can see your last daily golden cross happened off of this squeeze move, right? High volume, ramp up in volume, craziness. Retail mania. You come all the way back down to test this golden cross, and then you gamma squeeze after coiling in a flag, right? You gamma squeeze to an all-time high. I'm not saying that you're going to make an all-time high, right? But boy, do you have the opportunity to stick it to the shorts. Do you have the opportunity to prove everybody wrong? if you can get above the 200-day EMA. Only sitting at 354, guys. We are 54 cents away from making history on this stock. And everyone will be talking about this stock if you blast past the 200-day EMA. And I will make sure of that. Because we will continue to cover this stock well before the move happens. Because we are here to educate retail investors like yourself before they pool into the market. Because it's going to happen at a rapid rate, guys. You can see if this thing coils up, something is going to happen within the next couple months. So that takes me to the long-term macro picture, right? Long-term macro picture, that is a beautiful weekly close. And that is beautiful bullish volume. You fought off the MACD crossdown. That is what we needed. That is what we talked about. Mission accomplished. Check that box, right? Let's go to the monthly. The monthly, you're closing right now on a bullish hammer candle. I'd like to see us get to the top of that wick. That would be significantly bullish. I don't like the ramp down in volume, although we're only 3/4 of the way through the month, right? I need to see this volume pop the frick off if you're going to see this breakout here. We talked about one of the reasons of why we got into AMC stock when we did, and one of the reasons that I covered it so heavily is these Bollinger Bands being as tight as they have ever been on this stock ever before. AMC Bollinger Bands. Look at how tight they are. If you don't know what the Bollinger Bands are, guys, it is one of my quintessential indicators that I use for risk on assets and particularly right now, AMC. The Bollinger Bands created by John Bollinger indicate excessive sideways trading. And when this happens, guys, think of like a rubber band being stretched and stretched and stretched and stretched. Although it might sound boring, tension is building in that stretching. And that is exactly what this indicator shows you. It's showing you that technical tension is forming, and that when they begin to expand here like they are, that volatility will ensue, especially when they're this tight on a high time frame, the monthly time frame, one of the highest, right? So I would anticipate a squeeze-like move to the upside or downside. We can't gauge with the Bollinger Bands what it's going to be, right? You saw the Bollinger Bands get tight here. You saw a 71% down candle. Terrible, right? You saw the Bollinger Bands get tight here. You saw an absolute puke in price. You did. Saw the Bollinger Bands tight here. You saw a puke. So historically, the Bollinger Bands being tight on AMC has not been a good sign. But this is unlike other situations, guys. We've gone over the technical indicators. You are beginning to swing upwards, right? You go to the quarterly MACD. Oh my God, it looks so freaking good. It looks so good. You look at the quarterly MACD, you are getting your first ramp up of volume on the quarterly candle, guys. That is very important, and it indicates a potential bottoming formation. While you get a quarterly swing up for the first time since back here in 2020, your following candle on the quarterly chart was 381%. Come on. You can't make this stuff up. Your next quarterly open is what? November, right? So let's see how we close the quarter. November 1st is a very, very big day, particularly October 30th, 31st. October 31st is going to be a tremendously big day to see how this quarter closes, how big the volume is. I anticipate if you're already this high in volume with everything happening with Taylor Swift, your volume bar might finish like this, right? And that would indicate a double bottom. That would indicate you begin the second leg up. And that is what we're looking for on AMC stock, guys. So it's no coincidence that you are beginning to see a ramp up in volume, price expand, Bollinger Bands expand, and it is no coincidence that we are seeing History in the making, guys. The best is yet to come. The daily AMC gap fills, right? It's funny because someone commented gap fills in the comment section. And I commented back, gaps fill. You see what I did there, right? Gap fills, gaps fill. Because technically, most gaps end up filling. It is only a matter of time. These are like historic landmarks, right? History may not happen again, but so often does it rhyme. We don't have to knife down into the gap. We can build a strong base here, but AMC in past has so often just boom, boom. It has filled these things like insane. So you have one gap at $13, the next to $19, and then $43, guys. And what is the most bullish thing is the gap fill at $43 is on the weekly time frame as well. So strap in, ladies and gentlemen, because this might begin a very bumpy ride. This is a falling wedge. These break up. These break up. These break up like a boy band, right? That's how these things break up. Violently. Sudden, right? So thank you guys for tuning in to another video. God bless each and every single one of your families. Thank you for getting me above 500 subscribers. I appreciate all of you guys. I seriously do. I'm going to be going over Neo stock next. So please slap the subscribe button. Tune in for the next video. Hammer the like button. I love all of you guys. Make sure to get outside and tell someone you love them. And peace.